My guest tonight has starred in numerous films, including Old School, Legally Blonde, and Bottle Rocket. That's just to name like 1% of his output. Starting May 19th, you can see him in the CW series DC Stargirl. Please welcome Luke Wilson. Luke, how are you?
Hi, Conan. I'm great. Good to see you. Nice to talk to you. And I think you're doing a real service by helping put people in a good mood. So thank you.
Well, I like to think that I'm the real hero in this crisis. So thanks for pointing that out. You know, I appreciate it. Where are you right now? Can you show me just a little of your atmosphere? I want to get a sense of what it's like to be Luke Wilson in quarantine.
There's
what's
some wood there.
Luke, that is a lot of chopped wood.
That's quite a bit of wood. Oddly enough, Hugh Jackman split all that for me. That's one of the nice things, the way Hollywood's kind of banded together. I don't even know the guy, but, I mean, is there anything he can't do? He can sing, he can dance, great actor.
You don't even know him? You don't know the man?
I don't know the man, Conan. He showed up, whipped his shirt off, and, you know, he's built like you. He's an Adonis.
Yeah.
And he spent the better part of an afternoon splitting a cord of wood for me, and I grabbed a glass of lemonade and just kind of took it all in. It was just kind of amazing.
Wow.
I thought the guy lived in England.
No, well, you know, look, he's known to do that, and good for him. And a shout out to Hugh Jackman for just randomly cutting firewood for celebrities. You know, Luke, I worry about you. Are you staying busy? You know, you look alone there in that bungalow. How are you keeping busy?
I've been just trying to kind of do what everybody else is doing, which is, just kind of stay in. But yeah, it's funny. I'll have these conversations with my mother, who's 80 and lives in Texas, and she'll say, you know, what did you do today? Or what did you do this week? You know, what did you get done? And I'll say, well, you know, I got a little work done and made a few calls, but really not much, you know, because I've just been following the state guidelines, and she'll kind of imply that I'm kind of being lazy by not doing anything and getting out there. And it's, you know, it gives me this feeling like she's like John Gotti or like Tony Soprano. She wants me out there earning, you know. It's like pandemic, pay me. Global crisis, hey, where's my money? So she takes kind of a tougher approach to all this. So, but no, she actually she's been doing well, and she's not been asking me for money.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, everyone's obsessed with the same thing, which is none of us are really getting haircuts. If we're getting them, like, I've trimmed it some on the sides, but it's getting real floppy on top. What are you deciding to do? Yeah,
well, I mean, your hair has always been a big thing since you got started, and it's always had a lot of volume, a lot of body. But for me, it's like I always wait till I get a job to get a haircut. So, yeah, I've been having the same problem everybody else is. It's like I did wake up one morning and I looked in the mirror and I was like, I got Chris Gaines' haircut. You remember when Garth Brooks had his grunge alter ego, Chris Gaines? He was kind of like he was like a countrified Kurt Cobain. and that, to wake up one day and, you know, people talk about waking up and, you know, I looked in the mirror and it's like, I didn't know who I was. I looked in the mirror and I was Chris Gaines, and it shocked the hell out of me. That's not a good feeling. So, yeah, I might have to just, invest in some clippers.
You know, I heard a story about you, and I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like you.
This is not a good intro. I'm not loving this. These never end well.
Apparently, there was a series of murders. No, I'm kidding. This sounds very Luke Wilson to me, that you once ran the LA Marathon on the spur of the moment with no training and no rest. Is that a fake story, or is that real?
It wasn't the spur of the moment. We decided that night at about, I'd say 3:30 in the morning, that we would make our way down to the starting line at 7 that morning and try the race. But no, we'd just gotten to town, and me and this friend, Danny Fine, we'd had a rather robust evening and got to talking where most guys would say, hey, tomorrow, we should go down and watch the marathon. We said, let's run this damn thing. Let's show these guys who we are. And it's like, I can't really imagine any of the great Kenyan and Nigerian runners deciding at the spur of the moment, last minute, hey, let's close down this bar, go get a couple burritos, and then make our way to the start line of the LA Marathon. But that is what we did. I didn't finish it, but I made it 22 miles. And
really? You ran 22 miles with no training and no rest, hungover, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't even know that I'd hit the hungover phase yet, so that might have been what kept me going those 22. Yeah, it's still there. There's a Jack in the Box on Sunset, and that's where I kind of took my last steps, and I walked in there and got some food, and then I had to just lay down on the sidewalk, and this woman, very kind woman, marathon fan, laid one of those silver blankets over me, and then I had to get picked up by a friend. But yeah, I don't recommend doing that, but it is that kind of can-do spirit that we had back then that I worry that sometimes the millennials today don't have. Like, yeah. I can't really see them going out doing the marathon with no training.
I think a big criticism of young people today is that they don't have, frankly, the guts to drink until 3:00 in the morning and then go run a marathon and then collapse in front of a Jack in the Box. They don't have that spirit that I think our generation had.
Sometimes to be courageous, you have to be a dumbass, Conan.
These are very wise words.
That's tombstone material, not for me, but
yep,
some other guy.
That's good
stuff.
Some
guy in Florida.
Now, let me ask you something, Luke. You do not have children yourself, but you are an uncle. And I look at you and I think, that's a guy who'd be a fun uncle. Are you a fun uncle?
Yeah, I think I am a fun uncle. I mean, Owen's got two great little boys who are, I think, 5 and 8. And then my brother Andrew has a 10-year-old daughter. And I get along great with them. Yeah, really fun kids. I mean, during this pandemic, I mean, it is a little like The Shining at times. I did have kind of a Shining type moment with Owen's son, Ford, where I was saying, you know, I love you, don't you, Ford? You're a good boy.
It got real weird, didn't it?
What's your dad been saying about me lately? You can tell me, Ford. Don't worry about it. No, I get along great with those guys. They're great little kids, and yeah, definitely the kind that make me want to have some kids of my own, which I should get on sooner rather than later.
I'd put it off for a while if I were you.
Yeah, put it off. I mean, Anthony Quinn, you know, he had a child when he was 80. I just don't want to be one of those dads that has to pay somebody in the neighborhood to throw the football with his kid because I can't. Which I feel like I see here and there in LA. Yeah,
I'm at that stage, but I just did it out of laziness. I wanted a really tight spiral, so I hired someone who knew what they were doing. Let me ask you. You're now starring in this superhero series. It's DC's Stargirl. Did you grow up a comic book guy?
I mean, I was really a Mad Magazine guy. That was like the first thing I ever remember really getting organized to do, was to get a subscription to Mad, where, okay, I got to put $12 together and fill out the form. And so, yeah, I was really into Mad.
I was into Mad too. Yeah. I got into Mad.
Mad was great. And if you're in a bind, you read Cracked. Did you ever get to that position?
Yeah, Cracked was like, okay, I've read this Mad magazine like 5 times.
Right, 3 times.
So, all right, I'll go and take a look at the Cracked. I won't buy it, but I'll pick it out of the kiosk and look at it.
But yeah, I really did have fun getting into the superhero world. I mean, it was. I did have trouble. Like, there's so many characters, like, you know, villains and super villains and villains that used to be good and bad. And like when we were doing the show, Breck Bassinger, who plays my stepdaughter Stargirl in it, she was a great actress and I went into the project thinking, I'm going to kind of teach these kids how it's done. And hopefully I'll get to show them some of the things I've learned from some of these great actors over the years.
You'll be like Brando on The Godfather,
Right.
Teaching Pacino and Duvall, you'll be showing them the ropes.
That's really how I thought it was going to be. And then I got there, and then all these kids are such pros. I mean, really nice kids, but also so well organized. And Breck, for instance, she knew not only her dialogue, but my dialogue. So I'd get kind of mixed up with these superheroes, and we'd be doing a scene, and I'd say, like, okay, look, we've got to get to Iceman's lair right now. And she'd say, what about Icicle? And I'd say, look, we got to get to Icicle's lair right now. They got to where they wouldn't even cut. And there'd be scenes where we'd finish doing something, and I'd have to go up to Breck and say, look, I'm sorry, I always get Johnny Thunder and Hawkman mixed up. They for some reason they sound the same to me. And she'd say, no, that's okay. I've just got to go do some stunt training for 3 hours, Luke. So that's great. But yeah, sometimes I'd get a little mixed up in the DC Comics superhero lore and the names.
Is it true that you have a little bit of a reputation on set for maybe sometimes going into your dialogue a little early?
No, the kid playing my son, Trey Romano, this really funny, great kid, I overheard him saying one day to Breck, like, yeah, you got to be really careful with Luke. Don't take a pause, because then he'll just start talking. And I said, hey, by the way, I don't know your dialogue. I just don't know mine. So if I see you stop talking, I'm going to start in on my dialogue. So you got to be quicker off the trigger. And then I tried to just kind of turn it into a thing. And remember, this is the DC universe thing. Guys are moving fast.
Yeah.
We got to have, it's like a lot of action. So you got to be ready. But here I am. Then, you look around and there's the crew watching you having this kind of argument with the 12-year-old. And, but no, Trey's one of my good friends, but he did complain how he couldn't take a pause. And I said, hey, buddy, I'm just telling you right now, I see you like look out the window or look down at the ground. I'm coming in hot with my dialogue. So you either get, so then the poor kid, there were scenes where he'd be just doing this kind of rapid fire dialogue.
You got to watch it, because for years we've been doing shows at Comic-Con, and those people take this universe or any universe very seriously. And if you're playing a character and they run into you, they expect you to know everything about this DC universe.
Believe me, I've had to watch myself. I've had people come up and say, hey, I hear you're in Stargirl. And I said, yeah, it's a really great show. And then the guys say, well, does Brainwave, is he ever going to do Battle with Hourglass? And I'll say, I'm not quite sure. I'll see it in their eyes that they know that I don't know what I'm talking about. So then I get completely uncomfortable. But, it would be like saying, yeah, I'm a Yankees fan. And then someone saying, do you like Derek Jeter? And saying, who's Derek Jeter?
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to get better at it. But I really try and keep those conversations very brief and say, just do the thing. Hey, I don't want to spoil anything for you about the show. You'll just have to watch.
My advice to you, Luke, is shoot your scenes and then get back to the bungalow as quickly as possible. Don't wander around, because someone might ask you a question, okay?
That's right. That's what I do. A ghost on the set.
All right, let me make sure I get the word out on this. DC Stargirl premieres May 18th on DC Universe and May 19th on the CW. Luke, you are always a really funny, loose hang. I always enjoy talking to you. I don't know why we're not best friends. It confuses me.
As soon as this is all over, let's work on it.
Well, why should it take work? What did you have to say it like that for?
That's a good point. As soon as this is all over, let's get this beautiful thing started.
Yeah. You act right? Like, well, okay, when this is over, when this pandemic's over, we'll really start to grind it out.
As soon as this is over, let's light the fuse of this dynamite of friendship that's going to take over West LA.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very excited about it. Listen, so nice to talk to you.
Great talking to you. And really is fun to watch you guys at night. And it's got to be fun for the people out there on the front lines to have a laugh. So really appreciative to be able to watch you at night. So thank you, Conan, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And hi to all your crew and Andy, and hope you guys are all staying safe.
We are, and thank you for those good wishes. And say hi to Hugh Jackman when he comes by to get the hair out of your drain.
I will. I'll say hi to you.
All right. Hey, take care, Luke.
Take it easy. Thanks.